to the cloud, connecting to cloud server and live on Facebook. So that'll take me a minute. Okay, hold on. Now I'm going to back out of that because it's taking too much.
So just so everyone knows, we have a lot of junior parents on the board. So a lot of jump from one meeting to the next. So
okay, Maria, I'm going to delegate. Do you need me to make you a co-host so that you can get us live on Facebook? Because it was trying to post to my personal page, and I'm not going to make everybody sit here while I sort that out.
Yeah, I would have to be a co-host.
And now you are. Thank you. Okay, so the next good news, so superintendent will know when we know, unless Mr. Moss has something to say about that when he gives his report. One of the good news things is, as we are starting to slowly wake back up for freshmen and sophomore incoming parents and current freshman parents, really, we are going to be able to do a live and in-person coffee when we drop off for fish camp. That is still in the planning stages, as it won't be until August, but life is looking like it's going to be something approaching normal next year. So that's good news. I'll hand off to Helen. Can you give us the treasurer's report, please?
Sure. I'll do a quick summary of our financial standing as of today.
Sorry, Helen, I'm trying to get it up in the PowerPoint. It's not working.
Oh, that's okay. Don't worry about it. I'll just, it'll be short and sweet. So as of today, I'm sorry?
I'm sorry. It should be the second slide, Michelle.
Well, as we're working through that kinks, I'll just briefly talk about it. And then if you have any questions, please contact me at the, oh, there we go. Thank you so much, Michelle. So these are the statement of activity as of today. So our fiscal year end will end on May 31st, 2021. So it's coming up. So as of today, we have about 52,000 in revenue, and that's mostly coming from our friends and family campaign. And we want to thank our donors for doing so, because I know this has been a challenging year, but we have been so blessed to have wonderful donors who have contributed to us. With that said, with their contribution, we were able to spend about $48,000 of that 52. And I'm only going to touch on the major items. One of them is the $12,000 that we spent on the school beautification and landscaping expense. At our last board meeting, we approved Mr. Moss's request to sand and repaint the library exterior, and that comes out to be almost $7,500. And the baseball field actually is being leveled, or in the process of being leveled, and that labor expense is about $5,000. So that's one of our big ticket items being spent this year. The next one is our senior award and senior class expense. In the previous years, we've always given $2,500 towards the senior award. At the beginning of this school year, the PTO voted to increase that to $3,000, $1,000 award to the seniors. And then during the course of the year, we decided, since this year is so challenging for the seniors, we actually increased it by another $1,000. So for $2,500 to $4,000, an increase of 60% from previous year, going towards our senior awards. And the 4 recipients were extremely grateful and thankful to the PTO to give them that contribution to their school, to their college. The next big ticket item is actually our teacher supplies. This year we have seen a lot of teacher requests. mainly to help them with their virtual teaching in case of buying webcam, microphones, headphones, you name it, anything to help them teach more efficiently during virtual teaching. And that we saw an increase of 55% from previous year for that category. And the last big ticket item is actually our instructional support, which is mainly for virtual science lab for the science classes, uh, hard copy of books that where ebooks are not available. We have also seen requests for equipment for our yearbook and broadcast journalism classes. And we're actually, the board has approved just this last PTO meeting the purchase of 6 air purifier to be placed in the 6 science labs so that we are getting ready for next school year. So all of this comes out to be about $48,000 of expenses for this school year, which leaves us about $4,000 in net revenue. And that's all for me. If you have any question, once again, please send an email to me at the treasurer@cvhspto.org.
Okay, thanks, Helen. And we also have some things that we're doing over the summer that are smaller expenses. I think Mr. Garcia and Ms. Ford asked PTO to underwrite their going to a statewide UIL coaches meeting.
Conference.
And there's some other things that our teachers have asked for in person for next year. So we're going to book them this year. They'll be ordered and delivered over the summer and ready for next fall. And the broadcast journalism is one of those things. Am I right?
Correct, as well as the air purifier. So we're doing all of this to get ready for in-person teaching next year.
All right, VP Communications. I know, Maria, you might be tinkering with Facebook at the moment. Do you need us to ask Georgie for volunteers and then come back to you? Okay, Georgie, are you ready?
Sure. Hi, I'm Georgie. I'm the Vice President of Volunteers, for those of you who don't know me. And I guess my main thing is to ask that all of you look out for a sign-up genius that will be coming your way. That I know a lot of sign-up geniuses are out there, but this one I've kind of made of all the chair positions and the positions that require more of a commitment. You know, none of them are outrageous jobs, but they're just jobs that would make the PTO run more effectively, and also really a great way for if you really want to get involved in Carnegie. You know, and I think sometimes, you know, they seem overwhelming to take on one of those positions, but they're really not. And all of the positions work with one of us, with the vice president. So you're never going to be doing the job alone. You'll always have someone there to help you through it. And so just know that, just be on the lookout for it. And just if you can consider taking one of those jobs, that would be great. Also, what else is, the membership roster. I kind of combined from those of us who get the newsletter, as well as those of us who are in the membership directory from probably the beginning of the year, the beginning of the freshman year. And I sort of put them all together into one master list. And that's kind of our PTO membership list. So if you've ever signed up for the newsletter, or if you went into where you could click through and become a member of the PTO, then you have the then you get emails and you get included into the loop. So if for some reason you're not getting our emails or you're not knowing what's going on, be sure to email me and I will help you with that. And I'll put my email in the chat. So that's kind of it for me. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I do have a question, Georgie. Has somebody agreed to manage the directory for next year?
Not yet. No, I'm doing it right now. So,
Okay.
yeah, managing the directory be an easy job for someone who, you can do it all from your home, which is the nice part of it. So anyhow, we need volunteers. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Maria, are you ready? We're now live on Facebook. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so This actually demonstrates what I wanted to talk about, which if you've been at previous meetings, this is what I always talk about. But so this was my first year being the communications VP, now communications / IT VP. And next year, my son will be a senior. And unless my middle schooler goes to Carnegie, all of this vast knowledge that I've accumulated will go to waste. So I really would love for somebody to volunteer to take this on next year as kind of the communications VP in waiting. This job would be much better suited to have a group of people who kind of work together to contribute to a lot of different ways, because if people communicate in a lot of different ways nowadays. But if there was somebody who was looking to be the VP for the next 2 years, so not next year, but the following 2 years. So ideally somebody who has a freshman now or a sophomore, that would be great. So give it some thoughts. If you know of somebody who might be a good candidate, I would appreciate it. And it's a lot of fun. It's nice working with other parents, and it's nice getting to know other people either in a virtual space, or now that we're finally getting to see each other in person, it's also nice. So as you can see, putting this on Facebook Live, that was like insurmountable a few months ago, and I was able to do it in less than 30 minutes. So that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So that's it. The other thing is moving forward for the summer. I don't want to be, putting out a lot of content because, summer, but we will be staying in touch. And one of the things I want to do is reproduce the survey that I did at the beginning of the year, which is to kind of touch base with everybody as to what they prefer as far as communication. Sorry, my cat is making noises. I'm not used to being home for these meetings. So be on the lookout for a survey that's going to go out probably before the end of the school year, that just kind of touches base with everybody as to how they prefer communication to go out. At the beginning of the year, everybody, or the majority of people, preferred email newsletter. And so that's been a bit of our focus. I've been moving towards doing posts on our webpage, and then doing an email version of that, but then also sharing those posts via Facebook and Instagram and Twitter as much as possible with all the help of the other officers. So we just want to make sure that everyone is being informed and that no one feels left out. If there's a segment of the parent population that feels like, that's not something that reaches them, we want to know about it. And we're looking to make, whatever purchases we need to, as far as either technology or, going back to paper, flyers and things like that, if that's preferable. So just be looking for that kind of a survey, and please answer, because that's helpful. If only the people who like emails are the only people who answer back, then it's just going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Maria. Julie Fett is here, and she will give us a quick report on the senior class. If you're ready, Julie.
Hi, everyone. Just a few more senior events as the year comes to an end. They are celebrating their successes and preparing for their futures. But I'll just go in chronological order of the coming events. So on June 5th, the non-school affiliated formal event will take place. And so the PTO is no longer involved in that, but the students opted to have an event where they can dress up. So that's that. And on June 11th, which is the last day of school, is the senior sunset. For those who don't know, senior year begins typically with a sunrise and ends with a sunset, an event on the garage rooftop with the beautiful city skyline behind them. So this time the sunset will be in person, And that will be a really lovely event that takes place the day before graduation, actually, the evening before. And so graduation is June 12th. And Mr. Moss may add some more to what I say, but because we're such a small school and we're being graduated in a very large stadium, we have 18 tickets per student, and that's with social distancing guidelines in place. So families can now plan around that. 18 tickets per student. And I want to highlight too that the PTO runs an auction every year, and it's pumping along on the internet, a silent auction for front row seats. And those are 6 seats with stadium cushions. I forgot how we call them, but so that's going
Get
well.
support for your lower back.
The lower back support kind of chairs that some of us know. So that's doing very well, and that raises money for the PTO. And so we will definitely have a set of takers on that. And otherwise, just want to say congratulations to the seniors, and especially thank you to the senior teacher who I've been working with directly as the PTO parent liaison to the senior class. There's a senior committee who've all been working very hard all year under difficult circumstances, but especially Ms. Davis-Owen, Kristen Davis-Owen, who's just gone out of her way to make this a special year for them. So there's my update. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And Julie, you've worked really hard this year. None of us have had much of a playbook. And so there've been a lot of conversations about, well, there's this idea. What have we done in the past? Nobody really knows. How did that work? How would that work online? Thank you. And happy graduation. Is your senior looking forward to it? Does she know what she's got planned for the fall?
Yes. Happy times ahead. Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll segue a little bit into summer events and social events, and I'll jump into the segue there. And that is, we will need somebody in the upcoming year to take on the role of senior parent for the rising seniors. I don't think we have a PTO liaison or senior parent, and the senior parent job is, well, Julie, can you describe it, please?
Yes, and I'd be happy to pass on any wisdom I've acquired to the next parent. I think it'd be great to have that in place. But basically, because seniors do have a few more events and activities than the other classes, there's such a person who's a parent liaison. And basically, it's event planning and just giving an adult perspective when necessary, rallying chaperones for events, and serving as a liaison between the 3 parties, the student committee, the teacher, and there's always a grade teacher who's your point of contact, and then the PTO. So it's really not a difficult job. It's a fun job. I recommend it for a senior parent. Makes sense, but it doesn't have to be necessarily. But it's easy and fun.
Okay, thank you. You've made it sound easy and fun for sure. Jamie Turner, Ms. Turner, are you here?
I am.
Oh, thank you. I can only see 4 people at a time, so that's why I'm wondering where everybody is. So will you tell us about upcoming and summer social events, please?
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone. There are just, I will say there's one more event that we'd like to do before graduation. That event we're calling the Art Appreciation Social. We were hoping to have that event this coming up Saturday, but due to weather and some other conflicts, we are not going to have it this Saturday. We are considering having it June 5th. And what we are going to do is start posting that date once it's confirmed on social media. And you will also see it in the newsletters coming up. But during that event, what we're hoping to do is have a display of art. It'll be physical and digital. And then we'll have food where the students can eat and walk around, play organized games if they choose to, because there will be stations for that. And then lastly, the wonderful CVH dance team did create a video for us. So we're hoping to display that during the event. So we have quite a few things going on at the same time on that day, and we'll start advertising for that soon. There is an event coming up July 4th, and that event, I plan on working with the Rising Junior rep from Student Council. That event will just be us celebrating the 4th of July, and we're going to do that right on the CVHS campus. We're going to do that with food and in the night with watching the fireworks from the campus. And I will have more details about that sooner than later. That is it for my update.
There we go. That was the missing piece. I was muted. Sorry. We weren't really able to have the July 4th party last year because of COVID. And then the year before that, it was all but rained out. So let's cross our fingers that we're able to have a good solid party this year and start off the class of 2022, start off that year well for them. I think it is time for the election of next year's officers. And Min-Suk Kim, who is one of the members of the nomination committee, has agreed to run the election for us so that nobody whose name was on the slate was also running the election. So Min-Suk, thank you very much for volunteering for that. So you can see all of us one by one. Michelle had the idea to fill out a little survey so that we have down in writing and a picture of each of us who we are. So we'll just be quiet for a minute and let you all read. And if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask them in the chat. That's probably the best place to do that.
Oh, I was really confused as to what was going on there. Because I thought when you said, oh, you guys are going to start reading, I thought, I guess you were just going to read it and I won't be I won't be going through each one separately. Okay. So anyway, let me, my name is Min-Suk Kim, and I'm the member of the PTO nominating committee. Serving on the nominating committee with me were Alexandra Urkel and Georgie Silverman. And according to the bylaws of the CVHS PTO, the nominating committee shall recruit a slate of candidates chosen from the membership for all officers to be elected to serve during the subsequent fiscal year. I'm introducing the slate of candidates recruited for the 2021 school year. I thought I was introducing them, but I guess you guys read it all. I don't know, do you still want me to go through them?
Well, how about just reading everybody's names and the office that they've been nominated for?
Okay, so at the conclusion of the introduction of the recruited candidates, I can take further nominations for them from the floor. So let's see. And after we'll have a discussion, and then we'll vote on the Zoom. So let me go back to, do we have the Zoom, Michelle, do we have the,
Yes, 1 second. Let me reset it.
oh, you reset it, okay. Sorry about that. I didn't know what was going on because you said, oh, we're going to read through it. So I said,
Neither
okay,
do
well, I
we,
guess
Minsa. That's
everyone's
our
just going to
fault.
read individually. What was that?
Neither do we, Minsa. That's our fault, not yours.
Okay. Okay, so the first candidate is the president position for Susan Haas. She has served 2 years. Oh, you didn't want me to read it, right? Because everyone's already read through it.
Oh,
Or I can just quick.
I can go on.
okay.
Okay. Okay, and the next candidate is the first VP of Fundraising and Development. It's Joya Shukla. If I say anyone's name wrong, please let me know. She's the active PTO. Oh yeah, we've already read that. So, okay, and then the second VP of Communications and Information Technology, that's Maria Calzado. You've already heard her speak today. And then the third VP of Volunteers and Membership is Georgie Silverman. You've also heard her speak. She's the VP of Volunteers this year. And then the fourth VP of Programs and Special Events, Jamie Turner. And you also heard her speak in Special Events Committee, she was, right? And then the treasurer is with Mala Gupta. She's volunteered in, and secretary is for Aparna Jatwani. Please let me know if I'm saying these names wrong. And then for the parliamentarian, Michelle Farrell. And she's been working on all the background stuff here. And all right, so what we're gonna do is, does anybody have any further nominations from the floor? Anybody who either wants to nominate themselves or know someone that they want to nominate? Okay. No. All right. Does anyone have any questions? Or for any discussions? Anybody want to discuss anything about the nominees, candidates? Okay. Then we will, so the parliamentarian, Michelle Farrell, she will, I think she's already created a way to vote on Zoom. And so since there's no other nominations, we will vote on the entire slate of officers. One vote for or against will count for the entire slate of officers. Oh, there it is. There's the voting right in front of us. Everyone's got to see the voting poll in front of you, correct? You can go ahead and vote. And oh, I'm sorry. I also had to let you know that please vote only if you're a member of the CVHS PTO.
But I think everyone here is a member,
Okay.
right? Yeah. So like, well, I guess Mr. Moss is here and he probably wouldn't vote.
That's correct.
If you've ever received a newsletter or volunteered for anything,
You're a
pretty
member.
much a member of the PTO.
All right, I think we have everyone voted with the exceptions of like our counselors and Mr. Moss, who are not voting members. So we have 78% of the members of the meeting participants have voted, no, 82%. And each position was voted yes at 100%. So I'm
Okay,
going to end the polling now.
all right. Michelle and Maria and Minsuk and everybody and the whole committee, I know you all went to a lot of work to set this up, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, especially Maria and Michelle. They put all this together.
And congratulations to the new officers and welcome especially to the new faces. Thank you very much. And everybody who's rolling off, thank you for your service. This is not easy work and we're really grateful for everything you've done. Right, well, it is 8:09. So we got through that, I think, fairly efficiently. And Mr. Moss, what do you have to tell us? What's going on at CVHS? What can we expect in the new year?
So good evening, everyone. And let me thank you for hanging with us tonight, for staying with us, and especially if you attended the junior meeting. I know it's probably been a lengthy evening for you, but thanks for hanging with us again. And before I kind of start with maybe upcoming events and looking forward to next year, let me thank everyone. Today was a special day. Today was our last PTO sponsored employee lunch, and it was fantastic. You did not disappoint, as you never do. So let me thank you for today and really all the work that you provided us all year, and not just for the lunches, but everything that the PTO does. I feel that we are really blessed at Carnegie to have key stakeholders such as parents who assist us in so many different ways, not only for your generous support, the time that you dedicate to us, but also being a voice for Carnegie when sometimes it's not comfortable as a district employee. You are able to articulate what our needs and desires are. So thank you for that. I always say that GT students come from GT parents. So I want to thank parents for all of your gifts and talents as well. A great shout out to the PTO Executive Board. I know that all of you have many different things, going on in your daily lives, but your commitment, your dedication, your perseverance, and your positive outlook for everything that you do, I really, truly appreciate. So thanks to Susan and the entire executive board. And let me also extend that to everyone who contributes one way or another in the subcommittees and just parents, all around. Carnegie, I always say this, Carnegie would not be what it is today without the active and positive participation of our parents. I think that we've had a successful year, given the circumstances, or despite the circumstances. Today, I received the preliminary results for at least 2 of our 5 STAR exams. And so I got the preliminary results for English 1 and English 2. And look forward to, hopefully next week, we'll receive the ones for Algebra 1, Biology, and US History. But I'm happy to say that I think we had a very successful year. It illustrates that we have somewhere around 60 or more % of mastery on the STAR exams. So for those of you who may not be familiar, there are really 3 levels of performance on the state test. There's the approaches level, and then higher than that is the meets level, meaning meets expectations, and then mastery or master's level. And I'm just very proud that a great majority of our students actually fell into the master's category. In terms of what's upcoming, we all know that final exams begin the week of June 7th for our underclassmen, meaning freshmen through juniors. The seniors actually take their finals the week prior to that. And then, of course, the last day of school is June 11th with graduation on June 12th. It looks like we will have in-person school starting the 4th Monday in August. And we really do look forward to seeing all of our students in person and look forward to them again performing their best and, not only meeting expectations, but once again, mastering the curriculum. So we really do look forward to that. Those of you who may have heard about the virtual academies, I don't necessarily have an update on that, but I do want to mention if we have students, and especially parents of students who are not comfortable with sending their students back to the physical campus, my understanding is that the district is considering virtual academies. There will be 6 of those strategically placed throughout HISD boundaries. The unfortunate piece is that those students who decide to continue remotely or working virtually from home, they would no longer be associated with their assigned campuses. They would become, I guess, a student of record for the virtual academies, and all funding that their assigned campuses would normally receive, that will go towards the virtual academies. So Carnegie will abide by all social distancing as best that we can, given the parameters that we're allowed through HISD. I know that the governor has kind of set some expectations after June 4th or June 5th or whatever, but I will await a word from HISD. Currently, our desks are spaced 6 feet apart. I imagine that with the majority of our students returning, we're going to try to abide by the 3 feet distance. And so I'm pretty sure that we can successfully accommodate that. Let's see. I really appreciate Ms. Fett saying that you're using the word fun associated with what she does. I wasn't expecting that, but it's music to my ears to hear that that she felt it was fun actually participating. I'll say this again, Carnegie would not be what it is without the active participation of our parents. And there are so many ways that parents can become involved. So I really do appreciate all that our parents do. And, we certainly look forward to the start of a brand new school year. And prior to that, we hope that we're going to have a successful end of year. So thank you, everyone, for your contributions. And I'll open it up for any questions anyone may have of me.
Mr. Moss, there is a question in the chat. Will there be, or do you expect there to be a COVID vaccine requirement for the upcoming school year? I guess that for students to come back in person, is that what the concern is? Okay, I see the person nodding.
Honestly, I can't answer that. I really don't know. I have not heard the district's take on that. And maybe some of our physicians on the call can confirm. I do believe that a vaccine is available for students ages 12 and up. But I have not heard word from HISD whether or not it's going to be a requirement for students to return. I imagine there may be some confidentiality issues associated with that. I would probably err on the side of saying, I don't think so, but I would rather say I don't know, at least not just yet.
Okay. I'm looking in the chat. Okay. And then, oh, there's a question and I'm trying to get to it to read it. Okay. What is the current status of the library? And then a follow-on question, are in-person students whose teachers are not on campus only allowed to be in the cafeteria?
Okay, so in terms of the library, I'm going to kind of go out on a limb and anticipate maybe you're referring to the library being damaged due to a water break or a water main or line break. Carpet has been replaced in the library due to the generous time and commitment from some parents. They have assisted our librarian, Ms. Schultz, in actually putting books back on the shelves and what have you. So the library is ready to be up and running. In regards to students who were in person, yet their teachers continue to teach virtually, yes, for any teachers that are not on campus, those students do report to the library. We have one of our associate teachers or subs, Ms. Kane, who monitors students in the library. Once again, those desks and chairs are spaced 6 feet apart. The students are welcome to join their classes virtually during those particular class periods. I suspect that starting at the beginning of next year, we'll have full 100% use of our classrooms. I'm not sure if that answered the full question. If there's a follow-up question, I'm happy to answer that as well.
Okay. And then there's also a question about what can you tell us about the superintendent announcement?
Nada. Unfortunately, I have no idea. There are rumors that several people have been interviewed. I have no idea who they are and if we have any internal candidates from HISD or any local persons from Houston. I have no idea, which is maybe it's surprising to some of you, but many times I think maybe parents or the public in general think that employees of HISD are privy to information prior to the general public, and is just not. Or if there ever is, we may hear it maybe an hour or 30 minutes prior to a general announcement. But unfortunately, I don't have any information on that. I know that we certainly look forward to having a full-fledged superintendent sometime soon. I imagine they would probably start in July. That's kind of speculation on my part, in order for them to kind of share what their vision is for the district and get the ball rolling and prepare in preparation for late August. But that's about all that I can say.
Okay, thank you. Will all CVHS teachers be reporting back to campus to teach in person this fall?
So hopefully, there is an open transfer period right now, which I think will expire at the end of May. I don't know if it's the 28th or the 31st, but as far as I know, all of our teachers are planning to return to Carnegie, not only for the end of this year, but for the beginning of next year. So we certainly do look forward to that. I can share with you that we are interviewing for a third counselor. The third counselor will not actually share part of the alpha names of students, but yet they will be assigned specifically or particular responsibilities, incorporating more of the social and emotional needs of students. And they'll also serve as a campus test coordinator, something that we call the CTC, and then also have some other duties. So we find that having a third counselor will allow us a little bit more flexibility with that person, more than what we had this particular current school year. But I know that we always talk about academics as the priority, but just as important are the social and emotional needs of students. And so I think that will be further enhanced next year. Who knows what kind of ripple effects or after effects from COVID there may be for next year. So we are putting our money to work by hiring a third counselor. We have received applications. We continue to receive them. We're probably setting up interviews for next week, but the person we hire would start probably mid-August and be prepared for our intake of students at the end of August.
So does that mean that Ms. Reed is not going to be at Carnegie next year?
That's correct. Unfortunately, you know, Ms. Reed was spectacular and kind of brought some invaluable experiences to us. But CIS, although it brings a lot of additional resources as part of its network, we found that they weren't as flexible as we would have liked. And we find that having an internal candidate through HISD would be able to hopefully accommodate the responsibilities that CIS took on, but then also be able to assist us a little bit more globally when it comes to all of the needs that we have within Carnegie.
Okay. And then I have a question about the way finals are going to be scheduled this year, or the way they're going to be structured. Because we talked over the winter, Ms. Matsu came and talked to us about how AP exams were going to be structured, and AP is off campus unless you've got a language AP.
Correct.
So that made me wonder, are finals also going to be online only, or how's that going to work?
Sure. Thanks for your question. So we just shared our schedule with teachers today. So it's very timely. Our students are accustomed to having 2 exams every day. So I'll speak specifically for underclassmen. Is June 7th through the 11th. Those students will have 2 exams each day on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. So on Monday, it'll be periods 1 and 3 with 2 hours each. Every exam is going to be asynchronous, which means students have until 11:59 to submit their completed final to the teacher. Students may do that virtually, or if they actually come to campus, they're welcome to actually complete it on campus. We do have early dismissal on those days, so I believe that buses will be released by 1:10. Typically, the schedule is 2-hour exams with a 10-minute break between each. So we go from 8:30 to 10:30 and then 10:40 to 12:40. We provide a 30-minute lunch for those who want to partake of the lunch from the HSD kitchen. And then again, buses are released somewhere around 1:10 or shortly afterwards. On Tuesday, we'll have exams for periods 2 and 4. And on Friday, we will have exams for periods 5 and 7. So that leaves out the exam for period 6. So this is how period 6 is going to work. There are several exams that are, AP exams that are scheduled for that Wednesday and Thursday. That I believe is the 9th and the 10th. Instead of adding a third exam to either Monday, Tuesday, or Friday, this is what we're going to do with period 6 finals. Students will have not just until 11:59 on Wednesday, they'll have really a 2-day period to submit their final for period 6. That will be due at 11:59 p.m. on Thursday. That way, students who have an AP exam on Wednesday, they can actually work on their final on Thursday and submit by 11:59 p.m. Those who have an AP exam on Thursday, they may want to get their period 6 final out of the way by taking it on Wednesday and submitting it sometime on Wednesday. Or if they want to wait until 11:59 p.m. on Thursday, they're welcome to do so. So we thought that was a pretty nice compromise as opposed to adding a third exam on any one particular day.
Okay. And then what will happen for the seniors? Will they have exams in the building? Will the underclassmen be in the building while the seniors are taking exams? How will that work?
Sure. So it's business as usual. Those in-person students, regardless of grade level, they're welcome to actually come to the building, or they'll work in their regular classes from home. For seniors, they're welcome to do both. So those exams are asynchronous as well. However, the finals for seniors, if I'm not mistaken, will take place in the afternoon. So seniors will be required to attend their morning classes, and then they'll take their finals in the afternoon. Since seniors take their finals the week prior to everyone else, the district does not have an early release schedule for them. That's only on the last week of school from June 7th through the 11th. So that's why the senior exams will actually take place in the afternoon.
Okay.
And I do know that Mr. Garner shared that schedule with our teachers as well. We hope to be able to publicize that, unless Ms. Matsu has already put that on our school website, carnegievanguard.com.
Okay. Thank you for walking us through all that. We've had a question in the chat that I know was answered in the chat, but yes, Fish Camp is planned for in-person, correct?
Crossing fingers that we can continue with our plan to actually offer Fish Camp in person. And actually there are 2 sets of dates. One, Fish Camp is really a 3-day, 2-night opportunity, a social event for our incoming freshmen. But we also recognize that our rising sophomores last year didn't get the full experience of actually going to Fish Camp, to Camp Cullen in person. So they did have a virtual Fish Camp, but this year we have a second set of dates for our rising sophomores. If I'm not mistaken, those dates are August 9th through the 11th, and then August 11th through the 13th. And we will have our school personnel there. And we're also, the last time I checked, we were looking for parent volunteers who might want to serve as chaperones at Camp Cullen as well.
I think that's right. Georgie, you had a Sign Up Genius out, didn't you?
Yeah, there's a Sign Up Genius on the website, on our PTO website. I'll put a link to it. And it's also, you should be able to find it on Facebook or social media. And I emailed it out. I think we've had some replies to it, so I know it's pretty good, but I'll put a link in the chat.
Great, thank you.
The link to the post for your Sign Up Genius is in the chat.
Okay, terrific, thanks.
Okay, great.
Now,
thank
we're crossing fingers, but so we're hoping that that will come to fruition. We figured that it's best to plan to have Fish Camp in person. And if for whatever reasons we need to alter it and we actually can't go to Camp Cullen, at least we have the organization of it together. And then worst case scenario, we would go back to a virtual format. But we don't want to cancel it altogether, but we as of right now, we're planning for it in person.
And
again,
Camp Cullen is planning to be open?
Yes, correct.
Okay, great. And then there was a question in the chat about what will tutorials for students look like next year? I imagine that's a question about like the honor societies and some of the student to student groups, but what will be available?
Sure. So we hope that things will be business as usual prior to this year and prior to spring break of the previous year. This year there were things that were mandated for all schools throughout the district. We had to go to a 6-week grading cycle. Carnegie did place a custom waiver for the district to consider allowing us to go back on a 9-week grading cycle. I have not heard whether or not that will be granted or denied. But one thing we're excited about is actually going back to a modified block schedule. So that means out of the week, we'll have 3 traditional days, meaning Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays, students will go to all 7 of their classes and actually have a 70-minute lunch period. During that lunch period, students are welcome to visit with their teachers or go to peer tutorials during that time. On Wednesdays and Thursdays, we will have a block system similar to what we have now with odd and even days. Since we have 7 periods, we'll actually have 4 classes on one day. Those are our odd periods, 1, 3, 5, and 7. And then on Thursdays, we'll have our even periods, which are 2, 4, and 6, but also advocacy. So those 90-minute blocks, and especially advocacy, allows students yet 90 more minutes to be able to participate in various different activities, such as tutorials from teachers, from peers, from students as part of the National Honor Society, or the Mu Alpha Theta, the math club, so on and so forth. So we're hoping that, again, everything can return back to normal in terms of tutorials and instruction in general.
Okay. And can you talk with us about why, I know that, during my older son's, the partial block schedule came to be during my older, now graduated son's time at Carnegie. Can you talk with us about why you do that instead of a full block schedule or all classes in one day?
Sure. So there's been a lot of conversation and maybe even debate amongst our faculty about the need. And so we found that the traditional schedule, 7 class periods every day, 5 days a week, was a bit extreme. And certainly going to a block schedule 5 days a week was also extreme. So it was a nice compromise, actually having the modified block system with 3 traditional and then 2 block days. In particular, there are some content areas such as science that really does appreciate having 2 block days because they can have great efficiency with labs for science. If you can imagine trying to set up a lab with all of the different materials that you have to work with, conduct the lab, and then have cleanup and break down all of the mechanics of it within 45 minutes, that's a lot. So with a 90-minute class period, they're able to really efficiently have the setup, conduct the lab, and then actually have the cleanup, so on and so forth. For foreign language, they utilize Wednesdays and Thursdays for their test periods, which may involve an oral speaking component besides something written, so on and so forth. And they find that they can best do that under a 90-minute block as opposed to a 45-minute block. And so those are just some examples that come to mind with the foreign language as well as the science. And I think it's a great compromise because it's a little bit of both and not, again, strictly 5 days of traditional or 5 days of block.
Okay, thank you for talking about that. I haven't seen anything new pop up in the chat in the last few minutes. Does anybody have any other questions or comments? I will take that as a no and thank everybody for being here tonight, especially the junior parents who attended a 2-hour meeting about college preparation and then came here. Thank you all very much. I guess we should ask for a motion to adjourn. Will somebody so move? I need to turn on my view a little differently. Gallery view. Okay, I see Minsuk moves and okay, I'll second. Oh, no, Alicia Richardson seconds. So do we agree to end the meeting? You can vote yes or no.
All right, we have a majority to end.
Okay, well, happy almost end of the school year to everybody. Thanks again for being here tonight and good night. And we'll see you all back at Carnegie very soon.
Good night.
Thanks. Good night.